Are you ready to heal, deal, and feel? Well, I'm Ryan Lozano, your host. Let's get started on this journey of health, wellness, and happiness. I hope you're smiling because it's me, Rye. Welcome back to Take Care of Your Body by Rye. I'm your host, Rylan Rosano, and I'm so excited you're here to join me on this journey of becoming the best versions of ourselves. My podcast is for anyone who's interested in health, wellness, and healing, and I'm truly so excited and so proud of you for taking the steps to do something for you today. This episode is so enticing and inspiring, and I'm just truly amazed to know this beautiful soul, and I think you'll really love and resonate with this one. But before we get started, make sure you follow the podcast on your favorite podcasting platform to stay up to date every Wednesday and Saturday for new episodes. Also, make sure you follow me on Instagram. You can find the podcast and my wellness Instagram at Take Care by RY. And for all things personal, author, and just behind the scenes of my creation, follow Rylan, Rosee. So it's Rylin, Rosee, to learn a little bit more about my life and what I'm up to when I'm not podcasting or writing. You can find my 2 books that I have published out right now on Amazon. Once Upon a Time, I Survived Myself, which is my poetic healing memoir written about my life from my heart for your heart to inspire you and get you out of whatever you're going through, because it truly is written for anyone who's been through anything hard. And my second book is my Take Care Not Yet Healed or Ready workbook, which is a simpler but guided journal for anyone who wants to heal in a less heavy way. It's perfect for Christmas, so maybe add it on your wish list. And I'm so excited to announce my next book, Everything Was Here But You, will be coming out in February 2026. This one touches on grief, heartbreak, and those weird questions we all have as humans, but we don't really get answers to. I get the answers. I have them for you, and I'm going to share. And it also is that weird feeling of emptiness when we have a really full and beautiful life, but it still feels like something or someone is missing. I'm so excited to release that one and just share the journey with you guys. But again, thank you for being here and for joining me. Hey everyone, today I'm with a very special guest. Hi, Kim. How are you?
Hi, Raylan. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I mean, this is long overdue, and I'm pumped to be here.
Long overdue, and we're recording it in the same month we met last year. If that's not poetic, I don't know what is, because what do you mean? Hold on. Like what?
I think we're a week, we met what would be next week. I think it was around the 22nd or 25th that we
I'm
met.
I'm pretty sure it was. So that just like feels so healing. I don't know. I'm just like, what do you mean? It's crazy how time flies. Like I can't believe we're already in 2025 November and it's not 2024. What do you mean? And I'm just like, wow, Christmas is like coming up. Well, obviously Thanksgiving, but anyways, irrelevant. Christmas, like all the holidays are here again. And I'm just like, wow, being a human is just like months just happening all over again.
I feel that. I feel that.
It's
It's
just
been,
like,
yeah, it's been a full year, a good year, but I can't believe, like you said, we're at the end already.
no, like what? So speaking of holidays and stress and just time moving quickly, how would you say that impacts our hormones and our overall health, obviously, but really when it comes to your area of expertise, which is women's health, hormones, and just so many other things? How would you say, like, the stressful time of year we're in right now? Obviously, New Year's is coming up, Christmas is coming up, everyone's rushing, trying to figure everything out. And, a lot of people are struggling in the world. How would you say that really impacts our body? Because I feel like we overlook this one. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah, I'm smiling because I get a lot of women reaching out to me in January. Why is my period late? Is my PMS worse? So quickly, I'll just share with your audience. My name's Kim Bilyk. I'm a women's hormone health coach. I specialize in cycle syncing, which we're going to dive more into today. And with that, supporting your periods and your menstrual cycle. And then I also do work with perimenopausal women 40 and beyond. So, to answer your question, I'm smiling because stress, I think, doesn't get talked about enough. in impacting your hormones. Yes, I always say diet and exercise is a superficial. Like that's kind of the obvious. And then we get to look a little deeper. And I could speak from experience of losing my period for 8 months that stress is a very big factor that gets to be looked at. But with the holidays, the other thing is the first thing that I said, food, diet, and exercise. How much sugary foods are we eating in during the holidays?
Probably
And
too
we tend
much that we want to admit.
and we tend to drink a lot more, I feel like. There's holiday parties, New Year's parties, and you're drinking, and the sugar and the alcohol are not great factors for our hormones either. So, with that, then all of a sudden I'm hearing I have missing periods from stress. That could be one of the things. Or I'm having bad cramps. I'm having heavier periods. I'm extremely moody before my period or the first couple days. I'm feeling more bloated. And that plays in, stress could be a factor with that too. But then also, like I said, not eating as good, eating more of those sweets, the processed foods, drinking more. And because what those do is it does a few things. It bumps up our blood sugar. Blood sugar spikes inflammation, stress on the body. So stress can show up in many ways. Um, and then also drinking bogs down the liver. What does our liver do? It detoxifies, including our estrogen. So if that's not being detoxified, then it's being recycled through our body. And then you may have heard the term of estrogen dominance. So that could be because we have too much estrogen in our body. It's producing too much and or we're not detoxifying it. And also then from the stress is a big factor with progesterone dropping. So maybe the ratio from estrogen to progesterone, the estrogen is just higher than the progesterone. So then that could be missing periods, the spotting before the periods as well.
Wow. I wonder if anyone listening has ever gotten their period on Christmas. I feel like that would be a nightmare. I would probably cry, but it would be very festive too. So, I mean, you know, on brand.
Sure, there's a handful. I'm
There
sure
has
there.
to be. Now it's probably going to be me this year. I'll be DMing you like, Kim, guess what? I jinxed on myself. But it's so interesting, truly. Like our bodies, I feel like, are so much smarter than we give them credit for. If you're going through something traumatic, like the holiday season, a breakup, a friendship breakup, some financial situation, like your body is going to start showing you, like, hey, I need some extra care. Like you're not properly handling me well, given what you're dealing with mentally and emotionally. So would you say that is something like you handle with your clients that you work with, like focusing on how to relieve your stress? Are you team yoga? I mean, we met at Taste of Yoga last year. Like, what are some things that you would say, like, you should do these things if you're stressed so your cycles and just every hormone in your body doesn't go out of whack? I know you love
Yeah.
those teas also, if you want to talk about those too.
Yeah, I'll bring in the teas definitely at some point. So my three pillars with my coaching is hormone harmony, which is diet and exercise. Second pillar is rewire and reset. So this is stress management, what we're kind of talking about right now, and nervous system regulation. Some of it is also inner child healing. We don't realize some of this stuff that happened in our past does actually impact our periods. Something from being holding shame with our periods. How many of you were told that your period's dirty, that your vagina is dirty? Um, Unfortunately, but it is common, maybe experience some type of abuse. Any of this stuff actually impacts our cycles,
Wow.
and we sometimes don't realize it. And then the last pillar is reclaiming our pleasure. And I always say this is both in the bedroom and out of the bedroom. Of course, pleasure in the bedroom, but pleasure is just us connecting and having girl time because we release oxytocin. Maybe it's connecting with your kids or your partner or your family, being out in nature, just doing something that makes you really happy. So those are the three pillars. Now, going back into your question of like some of the things I would recommend is first connecting with your cycle, right? Uh, we're cyclical. Our hormones are shifting throughout the month. That's why our energy shifts. That's why our motivation shifts, even our mood. But we're also cyclical in life. So I'll use this as an example. I got caught in this whole government shutdown flying. So I got home at 4:30 in the morning on Sunday when I
Oh,
was supposed to get home at 11. So needless to say, I basically was up all night and then I had to work at 9 the next day. So I didn't really sleep. I
okay.
could almost, I know, I could almost guarantee you my period's going to be off a day or two. So with that, and I share that, so it's going to be off a day or two. Am I going to freak out because my cycle's a 31 or 32-day cycle this time? No, I'm going to take note of it though, and I can take note of why. If it's consistently happening that you're having long periods or missing periods or whatever that symptom is that keeps showing up, then we get to look at it. But if it's just 1 month, don't stress about it. And then with that, some of the things you could do is looking at your diet. How are you eating? Looking at your stress, like you said, whether you went through a breakup, someone passed away, maybe you went through a move. There's so many things. Work is crazy. You're studying for exams, there's midterms, there's finals. And through all that, just checking in. And first thing in the morning, I don't know if you actually know this, Raylan. So I self-published a book. It's called The Womb Wisdom Journal and takes you through. Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna go check it out. We're gonna have to like share books now.
yeah, so it's more of a journal, but it's like 5 pages of reading at the beginning and then 3 months of journaling. And one of the things I take you through a breath work practice. It's called cosmic breathing. But really, what it is just checking in with yourself every morning. What does my womb need? What do I need? So, doing that when you're in these stressful times, like what do you need? Maybe you need more sleep. Don't hold shame around that, especially around your period. You're going to want more sleep, it's going to be beneficial. Maybe you need a hug from somebody. Being in nature, this is really good for your nervous system. This is really good just to like connect with your feminine. Sauna is amazing. Anything that you feel, you just go. So something I give my clients is I call it the calm container. And it's 3 to 5 things. It could be a person, place, or thing that just brings your nervous system down. And any time that you're feeling stressed, that you're noticing these symptoms coming up, um, that you're hitting those afternoon crashes consistently, or you feel anxiety creeping up, which of those 3 to 5 things can you pull from? So for me, I'm blessed. I'm like 10 minutes from the beach. So driving to the beach and just going for a beach walk is like a big thing for me.
You know what, like, and that's so healing because I think we're in Florida, like, we're able to be around nature, be around like so much water, and people don't realize, like, there's that saying, oh, go touch grass. Like, people, there's a reason why that's a thing, like regulating and putting your body in something like water or grass or rocks or whatever, like, really regulates your nervous system. And you can probably tell us more about that, but it's so healing. And you just sometimes have to get out of your work bubble, get out of your house, get out of whatever you're doing and just take a minute for yourself and just take that breath and you're like, damn, I
Yeah.
feel so much better. Yeah, no wonder you're stressed.
Whatever you're touching nature, whether, like you said, grass, it could be the dirt, the sand, if you're out in the woods, the pebbles, uh, negative ions from our body actually get expelled into Mother Earth, and we're outside, so we're getting that sunlight. This is something great to regulate our circadian rhythm, to help with our stress, to help with our sleep, to help with our hormones, it's especially first thing in the morning. No sunglasses. Get outside in the morning first thing, and that actually helps with our serotonin levels and regulating our circadian rhythm. So then later, when it gets dark, we are producing our melatonin better. So, plus we're getting vitamin D, which is good for our hormones in our body and just function. There's so many functions for vitamin D. So it's like a 2 for 1 if you're outside grounding. You're
True.
actually in nature, connecting with nature, and nature's feminine. So we're actually connecting with the feminine as we're out there.
Exactly. And it's free. You don't have to cost money to go out and sit in the
Exactly.
grass. Go to the beach. Like, that's free and it's beautiful. Like, what do you mean? Win-win. Go do it, guys. For everyone listening, take the episode to your spot outside, to the beach, wherever, to your place. Like, get in touch with nature. I don't know, with everything online, like all the digital meetings and spaces and everything, I'm just like, I need real light. Like I need to get off my screen for a minute. And it's crazy because like I work on my computer, I work on my phone, but I'm just like, I need to go outside, please. I'm sunlight deprived, but it's such a real thing. It truly is.
No, it is because I make my own schedule, so I'm in and out all the time, and I do get daily sunlight all the time. And like you said, we're in Florida, and was it 3 weeks ago? I was in a 3-day seminar, and I was inside all day, and I was just like craving the sunlight. I just couldn't wait to get outside.
Like, please let me out. Like, I need to go home to my nature habitat, please. Um, so let's talk about cycle syncing. Like, what exactly is it? I feel like I've heard the term, but like on TikTok, and this is your thing, so you can be actually legit with it.
Yeah.
Why is this such a game changer for women?
I love this conversation and I love the question. So, cycle syncing is understanding, I'm going to stress this, your own cycle and how it fluctuates throughout the month. And understanding, like I mentioned earlier, that we are not the same every day. Our hormones are shifting, and I'll explain a little more how the hormones shift throughout the month in a moment here. So, when you connect with that, like this is why I created the Womb Wisdom Journal because I heard so many women saying, I feel so disconnected from myself. So, it's really tuning into your inner, I call womb tuition or your inner knowing and just knowing what best supports your body. And as I go through a little bit of the four, so our menstrual cycle is just not our period. That's what we hear about all the time. We actually have four phases. There are inner seasons. So when we're on our period, that is our inner winter. That's our menstrual phase. The phase after, so our period, a normal healthy period is 3 to 7 days. If you're bleeding more than 7 days, that's considered a heavy bleed. Um, I'm not going to say for sure, but there's a good chance your estrogen levels might be a little bit higher with that. And then that right as your period's ending, that is our inner spring, our follicular phase. That's going to run around, and I'm saying around because everyone's different. Or, from the time your period ends until about day 12 through 13. Ovulation, this is our inner summer when we're fertile. This is around days 12 through 17. And then after we ovulate, we go into our luteal phase, PMS. For some, and this is our inner autumn, and that runs until you get your next period. So, day one of your period is day one of your cycle, and you're going to count forward until your next period. So, if today was the first day of my period, today's day one, and if I don't get my period for 30 days, then I was on a 30-day cycle. A healthy cycle is anywhere between 26 to about 34 days. If you're under 26 days, that's considered a short cycle. And if you're more than 34 days, that's considered a long cycle. So, with all this, and this is why I say connecting with yourself, because those free period apps, you were asking me about birth control before we hopped on here. The free period apps, I think, are a good guideline. But if you look at them, they're telling you that you're ovulating on day 14. And I could say, so I'm 40, about to be 41 in February.
By the way, you don't look 40. Like,
Thank you.
hold on. What is this skin routine? We're gonna have to talk about that probably
Oh,
later.
I will tell you about that.
I mean,
I
I
will
want to
tell
hear
you
it. Like,
about
what are we doing? What does Rylan need to do? Like, pulling up.
that. A lot of it is diet. And I know you've kind of, I think, liked some of the stuff. So fit, you see me drinking that orange drink in the morning
Yes.
with from Make Wellness. It's a bioactive peptide and it's for like increasing lean muscle and reducing bone density and anti-aging recovery. And when I started taking it, my hair grew 2.5 inches and my skin was glowing. So that was a big thing. That was a big one. I do a collagen peptide as well in my protein shake. Obviously, I eat very clean. I do gua sha at night. I do a little bit of red light at night, and I put castor oil under my eyes.
Wow.
And that's basically my skin routine.
That's your
Nothing
secret, guys.
wild.
She's
Nothing
amazing. Her
wild.
skin is glowing. I'm just like, wow. Okay. All right, back to what you're saying.
So, I lost train of thought here. Okay. Oh yeah. So I was saying
Yeah. Yep.
me being 41. So I'm ovulating days 15, 16, or 17. So not your typical 14 days. So whether you're trying to get pregnant or avoid pregnancy, if you're like stuck on this app of 14 days and you're maybe ovulating on day 12 or late, you could kind of miss that window. With that, I do want to say us women, we are only fertile really only 24 hours on our own. But why we're actually fertile 5 days is because the sperm could live in us for up to 5 days. So just to make it easy, if I ovulated on day 15, backtrack 5 days, that's day 10. So my fertility window is from 10 to 15.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So just really connecting with how you're feeling. And so I'll kind of run through how our energy shifts. And then with this, just take note of how you're feeling, and you might have some aha moments. And then of course, we're all different too. So when we're for day one of our cycle, beginning of our first day of our period, our hormones are at their lowest, our estrogen, testosterone, and progesterone. And this is why you probably feel like you're more tired, you don't have energy. So if it's more like, I don't want to go to the gym, I don't feel like making dinner tonight, stuff like that, that's normal. But if you can't even get out of bed and you're calling off work every month, that's not normal. That's like extreme. Maybe you have heavy periods and you have low iron because of that. Like there's other things that maybe get to be looked at. So during this time, like take time to slow down. This is our inner winter. What does Mother Nature do in the wintertime?
Hibernate.
Hibernate, right? So we get to hibernate too. And I know we live in Western society and you can't always take a day off work, but I think we live more remote now, or work more remote, I should say. So maybe you could have a lighter day, especially if you do struggle with your periods. Meal prep, knowing your period's coming so you don't have to worry about making a meal. Don't overbook yourself with plans. Don't go have that crazy workout uh, if you're not feeling it. If you feel like you're dragging your ass into the gym just because you think this is what you should be doing, but you're not feeling it, skip it. Because I'm telling you, it's not going to support your body being there. And then during this time, because we are bleeding, it's good to, actually, you hear in Western medicine, don't eat red meat. Buy yourself some organic red meat. When I'm on my period, I walk into Sprouts and I'm like, I want the elk, the bison, and the ground beef, like organic grass fed. I want it all. So having the red meats is actually going to support your iron levels, your leafy greens, uh, beans and lentils are really good for that. Having warm foods, keeping the womb warm is going to support you. Ginger's really good. Your turmeric, all that is going to help support with inflammation, keeping the womb warm. If you notice you have cold feet, this is old like Chinese tradition or Eastern medicine. Keeping your feet warm is going to help support the womb as well with your blood flow, because cold or the warmth is going to help with the stagnation and the heavier bleeds and the cramps. And then we move into our follicular phase, which is our inner spring. This is our creative time. You may even notice, like, as you hit like day 5, day 6, you're like, ooh, I got energy again. I know I'm like that. I'm like, I'm ready to hit the gym again. So this is our creative time. Like, write your ideas down. Raylan, I know you're an author, so like, might be like when you're like, doing a lot of your writing for your books. Try something new. If there's any moms listening, like, I know potty training takes, more than 5 days, but this would be your time probably to initiate that new routine and like start with the kids. You're gonna have more patience as well. Um, Try your new exercise class, anything like that that's just different. You're going to be more open to it. Also, with, if they're for my entrepreneur ladies, this is a time that we get to be out and be seen more. You're going to have more of that energy to connect and socialize. And then when we move into ovulation, this is when we're fertile, estrogen peaks. So follicular phase estrogen's like climbing. And then in ovulation, this is when estrogen peaks, so does testosterone. So this is when you feel like you probably have the most energy, you feel like superwoman. Um, this is a great time to have presentations, negotiate those deals. If you're hosting anything, host the event, whatever it may be. Plan the fun, sexy date night. Have a girls' night. Put on that sexy black dress. Um, and This is when you're probably going to have the most energy for your big workouts and to do your heavy lifting. Like that's when your body's going to feel most supported. And especially if any ladies are kind of working on their fertility journey, we want to support our ovaries, omega 3s, the salmon, tuna, any of those omega 3s that are our flaxseed is really good for us too. Our citrus antioxidants, our vitamin C, any of those type of foods are going to support us and our ovaries to support ovulation. And then we move into the luteal phase, which is a little bit longer. Basically is broken up into two phases. And I know I'm like the first couple days, I still am like riding that high ovulation energy. And then, the last week or so before a period, you could feel like that downfall. And the reason is, so after we ovulate, that's our estrogen peaking in a healthy cycle. Then it's going to slowly drop and progesterone's going to take over. It's going to start climbing in case you do conceive to hold, to prepare you for pregnancy. And so with this, in our luteal phase, and especially as the energy is starting to drop in that like that week before our period, just really listening to that, our luteal phase and also our menstrual phase, we're most connected to our feminine. And I know we get a bad reputation during that. Like, oh, she's crazy. That's why I called my tea the wild woman. But really, we're the bullshit detectors. We kind of see through all that.
I agree.
Uh, but
Women
the thing
are
is,
smart.
sorry.
I said we're smart people. We are. Our
We are.
intuition is peak.
But the thing is, because we're more connected to our feminine,
Hmm.
it comes out maybe a little more emotional, right?
Right.
Whereas in the first half, we're more connected to our masculine, which is our logical thinking. So, yeah, and because we're the bullshit detectors, we may call people out, but this is also a good time to do your audits, whether it's doing your edits for your book that you're writing, editing your finances, maybe doing that inner spring cleaning in the house. Like I know sometimes I'm like all of a sudden like cleaning the cupboards. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm on day 21.
So real.
So just looking at these things where you could be editing your life and with like just working out workouts and just energy wise just tuning in with that you could still work out but just starting to slow down just like what we're in autumn right now. How does it look outside? The leaves are starting to change color. Mother Nature's starting to slow down. And I just want to add, when the PMS and the moodiness really comes up, could be what I mentioned earlier, the progesterone could be on the lower side. So progesterone, I say, is our natural anti-anxiety medication. It calms us, it helps with our sleep, it helps with our mood. So if it's lower, that's where that moodiness could really come in. And the sleep disruption. I know I hear women say, right before my period, I can't sleep at all. So that's kind of a rundown of how our energy does shift. And some of you might be listening and being like, Kim, I feel like crap when I'm ovulating. And that could happen if you're for various reasons. One could be, if you're already running higher estrogen and then you're getting that peak. Um, that's where you might actually get what we say like an ovulation cramp. If you have histamines, if you're more sensitive to histamines and that inflammation, um, as our estrogen peaks, histamine levels are more sensitive to that. So that can make you feel crappy. This last period of mine, I've noticed it's the 2 days before my period that I have lower energy and I rested and I actually got my period. I feel bloated with the first hour of me getting my period. Then I drink my tea, my restored tea, and I feel good within an hour. And you know what? That afternoon, I went to the gym. I was like, I'm ready to go to the gym. I feel good. And I was rested and I ate and all this stuff. And I was like, and that's where I'm saying, like, ideally, it might not be the best thing because our hormones are at its lowest point, but I felt energized. I was like, I'm feeling good. I rested the last 2 days. So that's why I say, like, cycle syncing, there's like the awareness of what's happening with our hormones, but the real superpower is tapping into how you feel throughout the month and then using that to your advantage.
I love that. And I mean, there's this quote, and it's like, if you don't pick a day to rest, your body will pick one for you. And I think that's so true because sometimes our bodies will start to shut down. And I can relate to you in the sense of like struggling with my period, and I had amenorrhea when I was like really young. But I think it's really beautiful in a way that our bodies tend to get periods, obviously, because, well, the whole goal is like you have to have a baby, like, to have a baby or whatever, the probably the science better than I do, but like I think it's to like, I don't really, what? I need to really research why exactly we have periods, but I know that your
So we
body,
can have a baby.
well, exactly, have a baby, but I know your body not having one is kind of like a really, it's kind of like a cute, not a cute, but like a red flag. Like, hey, you could have a baby if you wanted to. Like, there's something going on within your body. You're not safe to do this. You're not safe to function properly. And it's weird because even if you don't want to have a baby, but if like, or you're not trying to at the time, if you're not having your period, you still feel weird. Because I've taken that time in my life when I didn't have it and I've compared it to when I have it regularly, and I'm like, damn, like I feel more energized. I feel exactly what you were saying. Like I regulate myself properly. Whereas I had no emotions without my period. Like I felt my appetite was like down the drain. I was not hungry. Like I felt so fatigued. I just was not doing well. And then with my period, I feel much better. And it's kind of also funny. I don't know what you're going to think about this, but I'm ready to hear your reaction. The lower belly pooch, a lot of women try to like lose. Isn't that just protection for your uterus?
So yeah, some of it is actually where our uterus is,
Kind of cute.
right? Like,
I cry. Like that's cute. Cute little, like,
yeah, so little pouch, just below the belly button. Yeah, like that's where our uterus is. So some of it could actually just be your uterus. But we do need that extra fat on our body, to support our hormones. And yeah, we do have a little more cushioning, if you want to say, to protect us. But going back to what you were saying when you were missing your period and feeling off. So a couple things to that, and like maybe just for the listeners to have a visual. So as I was talking about cycle syncing before, I was saying how the hormones are fluctuating.
mhm,
So imagine, this is what I tell my clients, imagine a heart rate monitor, how it has the ebbs and flows, right?
right.
That's our hormones when we have a healthy cycle, right? They have the ebbs and flows. Now, this might sound a little morbid, but just for the visual, what happens with when on a heart rate monitor if someone passes away? It flatlines. And that's what happens, unfortunately, when we're on birth control. And if, when we lost our period, I lost my period too for 8 months. My estrogen was tanked. My vaginal lining was as thin as a menopausal woman when I had my ultrasound, and I was 31 at the time. And
Wow.
yeah, I just had like no estrogen. So it flatlined. And I think that's like the best way to get a visual. When I tell people, they kind of like, especially if you're like a visual learner.
Right.
And also with that, our period is our report card of our health. So I know we hear, oh, it's normal to have cramps. Oh, it's normal to be bloated. It's very common. It's very common and it's not normal. And like I said at the beginning, if it's 1 month, just check and be like, what's different this month? Why did this come up? Don't stress about it. But if it's happening 3, 4 months, we get to look at it.
It's a red flag. That's when you're like,
Yeah.
something's going on. And is there really any other signals that we can kind of see besides, oh crap, I haven't had a period for 8 months. This isn't cool. Like, does our body tell us in other ways, like something deeper is going on, maybe with your health, maybe with, your stress levels, something mentally? Like, is there something you'd be like, okay, I have this, this, and this. It's probably this. Or is that just another thing? We're gonna go to the doctor in here. It's just your anxiety. It's in your head.
Oh, that's a loaded question. That's a
Hate that
loaded.
one. I hate that one. I'm like, dude, I know my body best. It's not just my anxiety. Thank you. Like,
Yeah. And I know we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, just like being on birth control, how it actually could impact our hormone, our gut health, which could increase our chances of being on antidepressants or anti-anxiety medication. But our hormones actually impact our estrogen progesterone actually impacts our brain health. They impact our heart health, our bone health, our weight loss. Our energy, our fatigue, our sleep. There's so many things more than just our reproduction. And I think I could say this from when I was in my 20s. All you think about is like, oh, I have a period and I'm I want to get pregnant or I don't want to get pregnant. That's kind of where your mind's at. You're not thinking about all the extra things. Now, being older and obviously, doing research and studying and, being in this space for quite some time, like 6 years now, you have a very different perspective. So if this is something actually I could tell your listeners right now that I wish I was thinking more at 20, because at 20 years or 25, until I was 31 and missed my period, I didn't know any of this stuff really. You want a healthy period right from when we start getting it. Of course, it's not going to be regular at 12, 13 years old. But in our younger years, we want a healthy period outside of reproductive health because it does, like I say, it supports so many other things from cardiac health, bone health, um, and I share this because to your question, outside of having a missing period, what else could be symptoms showing up? It could be the heavy periods. A heavy period is when you're changing your pad every 2 hours, and not because you just want to be hygienic and clean. I mean, you're changing your pad less than every 2 hours because you're bleeding through, because you have clots bigger than a quarter, because you're bleeding for more than 8 days. Those cramps that are keeping you in bed, that are disrupting your life, extreme breast tenderness. Like some women are like, I can't even put a bra on. The really bad headaches before your period, the anxiety, the moodiness. Some women actually, their hormones impact their like testosterone gets talked so much about men for men, but we actually need testosterone. If you notice your motivations all of a sudden tanked and your sex drive, those are things that could be happening because of your testosterone. Even depression could be connected to our estrogen levels. So there are so many things, and it is complex to like look at it all. And maybe actually I could put it into, I'll put the link for your show notes. I do have a request guide for labs that I recommend. Because when you go in and ask for your regular female hormone panel, it's generally TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, but there's more ways to test your thyroid, which impacts our hormones a lot. There's FSH, follicular stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, LH, and then our estrogen. That's what gets tested. They generally won't test our progesterone. They don't look at testosterone. They don't look at our blood sugar level. Or actually, no, A1C and our blood sugar levels do get looked at. But yeah, I could give that for your listeners just to have that guide because there are so many things to look at outside of just us missing our period.
And I think like we often forget to look at the entire picture too. We're just like, oh, I don't have a period. Oh well, like it's just a period. It's like it's not. It's not. You should kind of care about that one. Especially as a female, because it's like as someone who didn't have one for a while, and now that I do, I can totally see like a huge difference in my body and in the functioning. And it's like no matter what your end goal is with life, you are meant to have a period as a female, and you're not going to feel proper until you have a good one, have a proper one, have a regular one.
Yeah, and with you saying that, like most women that I hear tell me that they hate their period, it's because they have a lot of symptoms. And just like anything, think of a person that you don't have a good relationship with.
Right.
You're just like, oh, I don't want to be around them. And some of it comes back to what I was saying before, how your first period, maybe you were shamed or you were told it's gross, whatever it may be, and you just started your period with a bad relationship with it. So is there something that you could do to just connect with yourself during that time and see if you could start to build a relationship with it? And then really looking at your symptoms and seeing like, oh, okay, so these cramps aren't normal, even though my doctor said they are. Like, what do you think I could do? And, I do take coaching clients, like reach out to me, find another coach or healthcare professional, naturopathic doctor that's actually going to look deeper at why these symptoms are coming up instead of just saying it's normal and disregarding them or just saying, here, take the birth control pill, something like that. Because once those symptoms ease up, I can almost guarantee you're going to feel better about having your period. I love getting it. I,
Really?
I love having my period. I have like some of my rituals. I do my journaling. I actually enjoy just having like, a day or two just really chilling out at home. I know some of you are really gonna cringe with this one. But I do collect my menstrual blood and I give it back to my plants.
Wow.
Yeah, so that is
I've
like
never
a,
heard that.
sorry?
I've never heard that. Wow.
No, you never heard. Some women, I know some women will even like do, I'm not recommending this, saying go do. I've seen some women like put it on their face and they do like a
That's
whole
crazy.
menstrual
Wow.
period mask. Because we actually do have stem cells. There is some new research. I can't think of the term off the top of my head right now, but there is research saying out there now saying that the menstrual blood is being used for like stem cells for
Wow.
to support, I want to say cardiovascular health. I know I'm a little off on exactly what it's for supporting, but I want to do say cardiovascular health. So there is research out there. Um, but yeah, I do have a little ritual, and all the nutrients that are in our menstrual blood is like what is in fertilizer. And my plants they're thriving, I will tell you
You know what?
that.
If you
But
have dying plants, maybe give them some menstrual blood. I mean, come on.
it is that way of giving back to Mother Nature. And I know, like, my cousin was even like, Kim, you give some good information, but that one, she's like, I just can't roll with that one yet. And I was like, okay, it's all right.
For
It's not
everyone. It's like health and wellness is individualized. I always think about that too. Like you could eat a certain way and then someone's like, that's not for me. Okay, like let's figure out what's for you, you know? But that's interesting. I've never heard that before. Okay, so as we kind of wrap this up, I want to like hear like what are some big myths about periods, mood swings, and just like hormones that you want to clear up? Like rapid fire. I'm kidding. But
yeah. So I think I've kind of like touched on it a bit
yeah,
throughout.
yeah.
Like the cramps, feeling bloated, having no energy is normal. It's not normal. If it's happening month on again and again and again, it's something that gets to be looked at. I think that's one big one. Another one, the birth control is going to fix your period. It's going to help. It might help with your symptoms, but it's like putting a band-aid on the problem. So why are these symptoms showing up in the first place? Uh, and with saying that, I'm not shaming anyone that is on birth control. I always say knowledge is power, and I feel that we get to be educated more on other side effects of birth control. For example, it impacts our gut health, which impacts our ability to absorb nutrients, and it actually decreases our testosterone. So there's just different things that feel that we get to be educated on. And because it impacts our gut health, they say 25% of women that are on birth control are on anti-anxiety and or antidepressants because our serotonin is produced in our gut. And what's actually scary is, especially our teens, increases their rate of suicide or suicide thoughts. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't go on it, but we get to be educated and just know like, are there other options? What's another myth? Intermittent fasting. And now this one could be a little controversial. I'm not going to say don't intermittent fast at all. I say, well, either you could look at it two ways. Intermittent fast like a girl. So instead of those long 18-hour fasts, it might help you. You might notice some weight loss at first, but in the long run, it could actually like register in the body as stress. And it goes back to you're saying like missing your period. Our body is going to go into survival mode if we're not nourishing it. Because if we can't nourish our own body, how are we going to support another human in our body? That's why we miss our period, so that we can't reproduce. So fast, like I say, like with daylight, I mean, I guess it's a little shorter now, but basically like a 6 till 6 o'clock at night, have your last meal and then eat within an hour of getting up. So you're getting like a 12 to 13-hour fast. What other myths? I think those are like the big ones. There's probably some other ones that I'll like hop off here. Cold plunge is maybe like another one. There too. Cold plunge in the first half of your cycle, maybe not right when you're bleeding. The cold, like I was saying, we're meant to like be warm to help with the flow and prevent the cramps and the stagnation. So
Is it
maybe
why like
not
heating pads work so well?
heating pad, castor oil packs. This actually might be a good one for you, Raylan. I don't know if you tried a castor oil pack
No.
to um, put castor oil on like a little wrap. You could buy them and then you wrap it around your stomach or across the uterus. I always go across the uterus and over the liver as well because to help detoxify and it helps with menstrual cramps.
I love that. I gotta look
Yeah.
into it. But it makes sense. Another thing, like I think you kind of touched on this, but when like a lot of guys or men say, "Oh, she's just on her period. Oh, it's that time of month when you're like sensitive or emotional or you're just expressive," that really pisses me off because it's like, what do you mean? We can be expressive and, you know, educated and aware any time of the month, not just when we have our periods, people. Like, what?
Yeah, I think, and it goes back to what I was saying. We definitely, we're
And
the
we do get a
bullshit
little more
detectors. So
emotional.
we
Yeah.
could be a little more short, and especially if our progesterone's dropping, we just might don't have like the patience
No, that's so
we
true.
necessarily have in the first. But it's good to be like aware of that. Like, I'll use myself as an example again. Day 19 or 20 in the morning, by noon, I'm fine. Day 19 or 20, I'm irritable in the morning. And it's because I'm in that transition of coming out of my luteal energy or my ovulation energy into my luteal energy. And I feel myself irritated because it's that high energy and I get to like start slowing down. And so I'm just like aware of it. So if I am sure of someone, I'm quick to like apologize. If it's unnecessary, especially if it's unnecessary. Or I just know to like be a little bit more about myself those mornings. And that's what comes back to what we were talking at the beginning, cycle syncing. And it's just knowing where you are. It's so powerful. You'll be like, oh, day 15, I'm like this, and I know why. Day 22, I'm like this, and I know why. Like you have these aha moments, and then you can navigate it, your cycle a little more and use it to your advantage. Really, at the end of the day, we're biohacking here.
Literally, no, it's so true and it's just so interesting. Okay, as we kind of close this up, like give us your perfect period routine. Like it's your period week. Like what's going on? What are you doing? What are you eating? What are you drinking? Like what gives you comfort and relief that you think my listeners will kind of also
Yeah.
be able to benefit from?
So I'm gonna run it like days 25 through the first 2 days of my period. So I know I kind of like sprinkled it in. I created 4 herbal teas to support each phase of our menstrual cycle because as I shared earlier with the cycle syncing, like our hormones are not the same. So there's a blend for each phase of our cycle. Awaken for the follicular phase, Creatrix, because we could create anything, not just babies when we're ovulating. Sex magic, manifestation, create our ideas. Luteal phase is our wild woman tea, and restore is for when we're on our period. And I share this because maybe I'm being a little biased because I created the teas, but the wild woman tea does help with menstrual cramps. It helps with mood. Ironically, it has a lot of root in it, and that is actually good. Roots and root vegetables are really good for us. So yes, that those couple days before my period, I'm eating a sweet potato, I'm roasting carrots, I'll do beets to because that's going to help a lot of fiber. It's going to help with those blood sugar spikes and preventing those cravings of wanting lots of sweets. I'm also making sure I'm having like good protein. I start craving like the red meat right before my period too. And a lot of veggies. So that's like what I'm eating. I'm drinking the wild woman tea so I don't get cramps. I'm doing my castor oil packs. That's when I do it then, castor oil packs. And I haven't talked about this much, vaginal steaming, yoni steaming. So I am a vaginal steam therapist as well, and I'll do that a couple days too, right before my period. So to prevent cramps, make sure I have a nice flow with my cycle. If you are a woman that does have bad cramps, heavy bleeds, this could definitely support you. And I start to slow down. The 2 days before my period, like I said earlier, I generally will not work out. I listen to my body, but if I want to move, I'll go for a walk. I love going for a beach walk, or I live across the street from a beautiful park, so I'll just go for a walk in the park, double whammy, get a little light movement, and I'm in the park with nature. It's great. Um, yeah, and I kind of keep my schedule open. Like I'm not packing myself with a schedule. Might go into the sauna. Ooh, something you know what else I do is a good breast massage. For a couple reasons. It's going to help with any breast tenderness. It's a good way to do a breast check every month without it feeling so daunting, and it actually just feels really good. And yeah, then the first a couple days of my period. So I always make bison chili. I just crave it. I love chili and I make a bison chili, make a big pot of that, usually end up freezing some. But I have that at the beginning of my cycle. Like I said, I always want like red meat. So I usually eat some type of red meat a couple of days. I'll make like lamb turmeric meatballs, a lot of leafy greens. And yeah, just like honoring my body and just slowing down. Really,
Love
that's like
that.
kind of my rundown.
No, that's so important. And I love that everything you do, like, all ties back into taking care of your body, self-care, like, just not overworking yourself, not pushing yourself, because we all really need to realize, like, as women who are so go, 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 it's okay to slow down and take some time to rest. So, Kim, we want to work with you. We want to follow you. Where can we find you? And where can we find these teas? Like, I want to know what's up.
So, thank you for that, Raylan.
Of
I'm
course.
most active on Instagram, and my Instagram handle is my name, Kim, and then my last name, Bilyk. So B as in boy, ILYK_. You could get the teas there. I also have Sacred Womb Cycle Instagram page. You could grab them there. Sacred Womb Cycle is my website as well. That's where you'll actually like go to get the teas. And like I said, I do coaching, I do consultation. So it could be a one-off consultation. With that, I do a full menstrual analysis and I look at labs if you have them. If you don't have labs, I can order them for you. Unfortunately, they're just not covered by insurance. All my clients, I'm looking not for normal labs, I'm looking for optimal. And then with the consultation, I go through everything with you and give you a game plan and kind of off you go. With coaching, it's a lot more like in depth, weekly, bi-weekly check-ins, depending how much you want, menus, um, meal planning. We go deeper into the nervous system regulation, in our child, womb healing, all that. Depending kind of what you're desiring, what you're needing. I do offer free consultations, 30 minute or connection calls, I should say, 30 minutes, just for us to connect, see really what is going on with you, how I could best support you.
I love that. And everyone should follow her Instagram and try the teas. I had some at the event that we were talking about in the beginning, and they're all so good. I just think like doing something that is good for your body is always beneficial, but when it tastes good and it makes you feel good, you need to get it. Like that's how you know it's meant for you and meant to like improve your health. Again, follow her Instagram. She's amazing, so informative, so knowledgeable, and she's like super sweet, super cute. Like you want to go follow her. Like if you're not following Kim, what are you doing with your life? Question mark. Like I'm mad. I'm mad that you're not following her. Um you're just
You're making me
amazing.
blush.
No, exactly. I'm your hype girl. Just take me with you everywhere. I got you. Come on, I'll be your plug. Um, but now this conversation was so much fun and very knowledgeable, and I really think it's going to give a lot of people some comfort during like a really stressful time of year, but also like time of month.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Try some of these tips, especially with the holidays coming. And
I hope
come
everyone
January, you're not going to be dreading your period. You're going to feel much better.
exactly, and I hope everyone listening just knows like periods are normal. They're not gross or weird or you know.
We wouldn't be here. None of us would be here if we didn't have periods.
I know, which is insane when you think about it. Like,
Yeah.
I should go like write something. Like, you're gonna see my next my next post is gonna be a quote about like the history of periods. Like, I need to really read about this because like I've never really sat and thought like, why do we have periods? Where did this come from? I feel like it all goes back to like Adam and Eve. Or is that like a myth?
I mean, I don't know from that end, but if you like, the period is actually our uterine lining shedding. So if we don't conceive, it's the uterine lining shedding. And so if you do have a heavier period, a lot of times estrogen is our building hormone. So if you have higher levels of estrogen, that means the uterine lining is thicker. So you have more to shed on your period. And then because you have more to shed, that's where you kind of could end up with the cramps because it's like more of a contractor to shed that.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
That's where the bleeding comes from and is where the clots could come from.
Things they don't properly teach us in school.
Right.
You where was that lesson, guys? But again, thank you for joining me. This was so much fun, and I truly, again, you inspire me. I look up to you, and I'm gonna go look at your journal, like book thing that you're talking about. I want to get it.
All right.
Thank you. Have a
Thanks so
good
much for
rest of your
having me.
evening. Of course. Thank you for being you. I'll also share the codes to your tea and all of that
Yeah,
that you shared. And again, we need to stay in touch. I don't know if you have my number. I'll send it to you on Instagram so we can, meet up and get coffee and, be besties.
sounds good.
I'll be your mini you. I'm blonde. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Have a good day or evening, actually. I forget. I'm like, I talk to people all over the world. I'm like, are we in the same time zone? And then
We are the
some of
same
them aren't,
time.
but we are. I should have just done this in person with you. You know what?
Could have. We could have.
Next part
That's
two.
why I asked. That's why I
Part two.
asked.
Part two. Part two. Pulling up. We can do it on the beach. That'll be the
Next.
dream, actually. So thank you.
Thank you again.
Bye.
Bye.